Well, for many pet owners, keeping their furry friends safe is a top priority, and a local company can help do just that.
That's right. Pet Stop specializes in underground wire dog fence systems, and they have transformed part of our studio into a yard to show you how the system works.
Yes, we have. We have our own literal yard.
Victoria Vesci is here with us today from Pet Stop. Thanks so much for joining us
Thanks
today.
for having me.
Let's talk a little bit about how this system works and maybe some of the misnomers that are out there about these types of systems.
Okay. Well, the system works by a radio wave. The transmitter hangs in the garage, and this is our transmitter, and what it does, it emits a signal out into the yard, and it's a radio wave. And this can hang in a garage or a pool house or a barn because it does up to 40 acres. So it can either do a small yard or a very large yard. And it sends the signal out through the wire that's buried in the ground, and that is your fence, and that's why they call it the hidden or underground or invisible, because you can't see it. And we can bury the wire any way you want, and so you can do different yard shapes, you can block out pools, you can block out a garden if you want, but the radio wave is in the yard. The dog wears a collar similar to these. We have a couple of collars here.
His and hers.
Yes, his and hers. And of course the collar goes on the dog here, and as the dog approaches the flags, as we have here in the yard, he gets a correction. Now we call it a correction because it's not an electric shock.
I think that's an important thing, because a lot of people assume an electric fence with an electric shock and my dog is going to get an electric shock, but that's not necessarily the case.
That's not the case, and that's what a lot of people do think. It's an old misunderstanding that people think from the old cattle wire that they used to use. This is a radio wave. It's perfectly safe for your dog. It's not going to hurt his heart or his nerves, and it just jumps the muscle. It's similar to when you go to a chiropractor and they put you on a TENS machine, and they call it muscle therapy actually, but turned up high, it's not comfortable, and it's enough to deter the dog not to go out of his yard.
So we have our little demo set up here with Beacon. This is wonderful
Beacon.
Dog.
Very
so
sweet
cute.
dog.
So what are we going to do with Beacon? This is something that you would actually do if you came out to install this fence in somebody's yard. This is part of the training program,
Exactly.
Right? Okay.
So wherever the wire is, there'll be a flag where the wire is. And again, you can do it any shape you want. Some people like a front and a backyard pod. Some people just do a full loop. But the dog is trained to not go past the flags. And so obviously this is not Beacon's yard, but come on, Beacon. So if we approach the flags with the dog, we're going to be moving in and out of the flags, and we're going to say, no flag, Beacon, no flag. And Beacon knows the flag's there. Come on, Beacon, turn this way.
He looked at it like, I know what that's all about.
See, and then we'd go here, no flag, Beacon, no flag. So Beacon knows not to go through the flags. Of course, she's already trained, and she has her own system in her yard, but that's similar how it works. And so the dogs are trained for about 3 days, about 10 to 15-minute sessions, 3 times a day. It's not difficult, it's just a little bit time-consuming. But if you'll spend those 3 days working with your dog, then in about 3 days they're done, and you can pick up the flags in about 2 weeks. They only have to stay down for a little while for the dog to learn them and for you to learn where the boundary is as well.
Yeah, and it's amazing that you pick up the flags, but yet they still know exactly where it is in the yard where they cannot cross. Because I thought the flags would have to stay there because that would be their visual barrier, but that's not true.
No, in fact, Pet Stop has put together a fantastic training program, and it's done by dog trainers, doggy whisperers, and so they just know how to get into a dog's mind, and we do a very good job of moving the dogs in and out, walking their borders with them. We teach the people how to do that. And so, yeah, the dogs know exactly where to go and where they can't go.
And you have some other elements as well so that you can train the dog not just outside, but when the dog is inside the house, because there's some areas that maybe you don't want the dog in, the baby's room or in the bedroom or things like that.
Absolutely, and this is a really huge seller for us. People love these. These are called room wizards, but I like to call them electronic baby gates. It keeps the dog in a room or out of a room. So some people don't want the dog to go upstairs, so you just put this at the foot of the stairs, plug it in, and you can grow your signal up and down. So as the dog approaches this system here, they get the beep, beep, beep and a correction just like they do outside. Some people don't want the dog in the office because it chews up the paper, so you just plug this in there and it works there. So that's kind of for out of a room, but if you want to keep a dog in a room, a lot of people don't like to crate their animals. When they leave, they feel like it's too small of an area, so you can keep your dog in the kitchen or in a laundry room, and the dog will stay there all day, and it works great.
So how does Pet Stop differ from some of the other electric fences or pet fences that are out there?
Well, we have a couple features that no one else has. Our biggest one is our no run through, and that means that the average dog will be trained off all the other system, about 80% of dogs. 20% of dogs, however, and that's the hunting breeds and the dogs that really have a strong prey drive, they won't stay off the 1 second correction. So sometimes you need to lengthen it, and we're the only ones that have it. So I can take a 1 second pulse when a dog is running through the yard, and I can turn it into 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, I can make it longer. And for those type of breeds, they need that extra correction to keep them in the yard, where all the other systems only give a 1 second pulse.
Okay.
So we also have an Omni antenna in ours. It's a 3-way antenna, so it can PetStop knows that animals often would scratch and get it around the back of their neck, their collar, and so other systems it doesn't pick it up because they only have 1 antenna in the collar. So ours has a 3-way antenna, and so no matter where the dog gets it, he's going to get that full force correction. We've been around a long time, and we've dealt with a lot of Houdinis and escape artists. So we've pretty much come up with everything they can come up with to keep them in their yard, which is where they need to be safe.
Right.
And one of the really great things about this system, it allows the dog to go out, exercise, run around, you know, chase some squirrels to the flag, but also the doggy doors that come with it. So the dog can really let itself in and out of the house when it needs to go to the bathroom.
Right. We do carry dog doors, and we say it goes hand in paw with our fence systems. So we carry anything from a standard door to a premium door. We can put them in the door, in a wall, even in glass, in a screen. So it really does allow the dog to get out there and get stimulated like they need. They get the exercise, and I can't tell you how many housewives have said, "You've saved my dog," because it was going to go back to the shelter because I just couldn't deal with the puppy. They wanted the puppy, but mom's always responsible for the puppy. So we put in our fence system, we drop a dog door in, and everything's happy. And so many people have said, "You know what? You've made life so much easier. There's peace again in our home. We get to keep the dog." And it's saved a lot of dogs' life too, from getting hit by cars that are running out, digging out from under their fences. So it really is a fantastic system for your pet.
And if you're gone a lot too, and you don't have time to come back to take the dog out, if the dog can go in and out of the house freely without fear of getting out or anything, I'm sure that kind of lightens the burden for a lot of people.
Yeah, we have a lot of people that don't have children. Their dogs are their children, but they work busy lives and they go out to dinner afterwards and everything, and they tell us, you know, now we don't have to worry about that. We're not fighting over who's going to go home and let the dogs out.
Right.
They can go out, the dogs can let themselves out, the dogs are happy, and there's no stress or worry or guilt because you didn't get home in time to let the dog out.
Yeah, and what about cost for something like this?
They really aren't as expensive as people think. You can get a system installed, and that would be your install, your transmitter, a collar for anywhere from $699 to about $1,099, and we can also break that up into about 6 interest-free monthly payments.
And the training as well. You come out, you show them how to manage the system, help them train the dog.
Yes, that includes your training. Now I say a basic install, some people have really big yards, so it's just a few extra pennies for each foot wire that you do. And I can do a full train for you where I come out 5 different times and fully train the dog, but most people don't need that. The basic training I do, you get a DVD, you get a manual, I show you how to do everything, and pretty much people go from there. There's not a lot of problem because it's not very difficult. It works a lot quicker than people think. The dogs are smart. They get it.
Yeah, well, Victoria, thank you so much. And
thank you for having us.
And Faith, your mommy's over there. I want to get going. I'm done with the segment. All right, well, thank you so much for being here. We also want to thank PetStop for sponsoring the segment.
That's right. And if you'd like more information, visit PetStopNortheastFlorida.com or give them a call at 904-527-9900 for a free in-home estimate.